Now, to continue our coverage over the Dawn of X, we do pick up with Excalibur number 5. Now, with that being said, we actually do pick up with Richter and Gambit, and where our last video left off at with these two characters. Because remember, Gambit and Richter were able to get crystals for Apocalypse, but apparently Gambit has slipped down to a deeper part of the earth. And of course, Richter is trying to use his powers as a way to save Gambit before Gambit is able to die. And so with that being said, you do have Richter being able to use his mutant ability, which is that he's able to control seismic waves to be able to catch Gambit before Gambit is killed. But that is the moment they realize they have to go back and meet up with the rest of the Excalibur team. Now, when Gambit and Richter get to the surface of the earth, that is the moment they come to find out what is happening right now all over the earth. Well, really Great Britain, sorry. But either way, right now you have monsters from Otherworld attacking Great Britain. And the reason why, because what happened in the earlier chapters of Excalibur. Because you did have Coven Akabatel, Captain Britain, and MK13 when Excalibur went into Otherworld and they brought the son of Jubilee, Baby Shogo, he was turned into a dragon. And of course, he used fire breath to attack people when he needed to. But of course, his fire breath was magic. And with that magic, it tore the barrier between Earth and Otherworld. And so right now, you have monsters from Otherworld just being able to easily access the Earth. And right now, they're attacking Great Britain. But that is the moment you have Apocalypse call out to Richter and Gambit and say, listen, you guys need to come back to the lighthouse because things are about to get a whole lot worse. Now, we do jump back over to Captain Britain and MK13. Now remember, at this point in Marvel Comics, your Captain Britain is actually Betty Braddock. It's not her twin brother at all right now, because he's still trapped in Otherworld at the moment. But either way though, right now, it's basically us getting a look at what is happening across Great Britain. That these creatures are attacking everywhere. It's not just some spots here and some spots there. They're attacking everywhere. And so right now you have MK13 saying, listen, you need to go find Apocalypse, meet up with the rest of your team and try to fix this before things get even worse. Because right now it seems like things are about to get a whole lot worse very soon. So you need to leave right at this moment. And of course, you do have her leave to go join up with the rest of her team. Now we do jump over to Rogue. Now remember, the whole time Excalibur has been going on, Rogue has been in some kind of coma, some kind of stasis. Because remember, in Excalibur number 1, Apocalypse had asked her to touch one of the gates that actually led into Otherworld. But when she tried to touch it, there was some kind of feedback and it put her in some kind of coma. And ever since then, she has been in that coma. And so right now, we go into her mind and we see her having some kind of dream. Now right now she doesn't remember what happened to her, and so she's wondering where in the world is she. And she does run into a fiery dog. Now this fiery dog we actually met in one of the earlier chapters of Excalibur, and Betty Braddock actually met this dog. And so this dog is actually very important. But either way, you do have the dog take Rogue throughout her dream. And when she goes into a certain part of her dream, it helps her remember what actually happened to her, which was she met up with Apocalypse, and Apocalypse had her touch that gate, and it sent some kind of feedback to her and put her in some kind of coma. And so right now, she's trying to break free from where she is in her dream. Now getting back to the rest of the Excalibur team who's right now regrouping at the lighthouse, you have them right now fighting against the monsters from Otherworld. But with them doing that, of course, they're trying their best to survive. Now, you do have Gambit and Richter appear, and apparently Gambit still does not like Apocalypse. But that is the moment we come to find out that Gambit did something to ruin the plans of Apocalypse. Because at this point, Apocalypse had planned everything out to a certain point. He knew when things were going to happen and how things were going to happen. happen. But apparently with Rogue right now waking up, she's waking up too early in Apocalypse's plan. And the reason why? Because Gambit went back to COPPA, found a telepath to go into the mind of Rogue to give her a nudge, to fight in her dream, to wake up. But with Gambit doing that, it's basically ruining the plans of Apocalypse, something Apocalypse really does not like. Now back in the dream world, you have Rogue beginning to wake up, because remember, Gambit did say that he found a telepath to give her a nudge to wake up, even though Apocalypse did not plan for her to wake up at this moment. But either way, she is waking up. She's realizing that something is going on with her husband. She's realizing that Apocalypse planned this, and Apocalypse is trying to take all the credit for the work being done by other people. And so right now, it's her waking up. And she's realizing the world is changing, and the world is changing because you have monsters from other worlds attacking Great Britain. And so this is Rogue getting ready to wake up and help her friends fight against the forces of Otherworld at this moment. Now, getting back into the real world, you have Gambit fighting against Apocalypse. Now, let me just say, this fight right here is not fair. It's not fair at all because it's Gambit fighting against Apocalypse. Apocalypse is too strong for Gambit to stop on his own. And so you have Apocalypse just beat down on Gambit and knock him out. But things are about to get a whole lot worse for Apocalypse. And the reason why I say that is the crystals that he wanted. Because remember, in the last chapter, he has sent Richter and Gambit to go gather some crystals. Now, these crystals were apparently made out of the bones of mutants from thousands of years ago. But these crystals were holding a lot of magic. And when Apocalypse tried to use them, the crystals no longer have magic anymore. And so you have Apocalypse wondering, what in the world happened to the crystals? What did Gambit do? What did Richter do? What is happening right now? His plans are falling apart and he cannot stand that at all. But then you have Rogue wake up, and Rogue is very angry because she saw what Apocalypse just did to her husband Gambit. And so right now she wants to kill him. And so she begins to attack him. And also she begins to use her powers on Apocalypse, which means that she is absorbing his life energy and his powers into her. Now, you do have Apocalypse tell Rogue, do it. Take my life. Take all my powers. You need this to complete the ritual. And you're kind of like, what does he mean? Because apparently Apocalypse knew that Rogue was going to wake up. But Rogue needed to have some kind of connection with Otherworld and COPPA at the same time. And that is why he had her touch the gate back in Excalibur #1, so that she'll have a connection with both worlds. And so to complete the ritual, she has to kill Apocalypse right in front of the gate. And so she does that. She kills Apocalypse. And when she does that, the gate that originally led to Otherworld has changed. On top of that right there, Rogue has changed. Rogue now looks like Apocalypse. And this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. Later, guys.